Hey you, yeah you, are you ready to hear something that might just flip the way you've been thinking about life upside down? Because, honestly, finding your passion is way simpler than you've been making it. We've all been there. The endless cycle of scrolling through social media, watching people living out their dreams, and then asking ourselves, why can't I just find that one thing I'm truly passionate about? We get caught up in the pressure to discover some grand, life-changing passion that will change everything. But here's the truth. You don't need to complicate it so much. In this video, I'm going to break down why finding your passion isn't some massive, complicated journey you need to spend years searching for. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly how to find it right now, without all the confusion, and I promise you it won't feel overwhelming at all. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, sure, that sounds easy, trust me, you're not alone in this. I get it. We've all been told by society that discovering your passion is this deep, intense thing you need to search for in every corner of the world. But I'm about to tell you, that's just not true. Today, we'll talk about the biggest myth about passion that's keeping you stuck. How to start discovering your passion by looking at the everyday things you already do. The simple shift in mindset that will make the process feel effortless. How to break free from the fear of failure and rejection that's blocking you from truly embracing your passion. I'm going to walk you through everything, step by step, but you've got to stick with me because this is going to be the most refreshing take on passion that you've heard in a while. Trust me, you'll be seeing it in a whole new light by the end of this video. Okay. Let's kick things off with a little dose of truth. The first thing you need to understand about finding your passion is this. You don't need to be searching for it at all. I know. You probably thought this whole finding your passion thing was like hunting for treasure. You know, digging through layers of sand, fighting off the crabs, just to find that glimmering chest of gold at the end. But it's not. It's not a treasure hunt. I'm about to drop a huge bomb on you right now. Ready? Your passion isn't out there somewhere. It's already inside you. And no, I'm not being cheesy here. Stick with me. The problem we run into is that we've been taught to think about passion as something we need to find, instead of something we can create by taking action and following the things that already excite us. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly energized by something, even if it was just for a minute? It could be something simple like cooking a new recipe, helping a friend with a project, or even just watching a documentary about a topic you didn't know much about. That feeling you got from those things? That's your passion trying to speak to you, but you've probably been ignoring it, thinking you have to look for something bigger. But here's the kicker. Your passion doesn't need to be some grand purpose, some ultimate thing that defines you for the rest of your life. Passion is more fluid than that. It's about getting excited about the small, enjoyable things in your life and exploring them further. That's what makes it fun and, dare I say it, easier than you might have thought. So, how do we stop overcomplicating things? Well, let's start by taking a look at something simple that you're probably already doing. In fact, you're doing it every single day. The small choices you make about what you enjoy in your free time, that's your starting point. You're probably doing things that excite you, but the problem is, you're not paying attention to it because you're waiting for something big to come along. But those small, consistent moments of joy are exactly where your passion lies. Let me ask you something. When you're not working or you're not tied up with responsibilities, what's the first thing you do? What do you always find yourself doing? Is it reading, drawing, playing a game, listening to music, talking to a friend? Whatever it is, that's a clue. A clue that you don't have to go searching for your passion. It's already showing up in your daily life. You just have to start noticing it. Okay. So now that we know your passion isn't this faraway concept, let's talk about the next part. The second thing that's keeping you from finding your passion? Fear. You see, there's a reason we overcomplicate things. It's because we're scared. Scared of failing. Scared of being judged. Scared that we'll look silly if we actually follow that thing that excites us. I get it. We've all been there. But I'm telling you now, you're allowed to be a beginner. You're allowed to suck at something at first. Passion is not about being perfect. It's about being interested enough to try. And you won't know if you enjoy something unless you try it. So, what if I told you that you could start right now? No more waiting for the perfect time or for all the stars to align. Passion doesn't wait for ideal conditions. It's not going to knock on your door one day, all shiny and polished. It's about starting where you are, with what you have, and not worrying about whether or not you're good at it. The key to this is to stop waiting for permission. You don't need anyone's validation. If you're interested in something, even if it feels small or silly, dive into it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Passion thrives on action, not on analysis. And here's the thing. Once you start taking action, it gets easier. You build momentum. You learn what excites you. And most importantly, you begin to discover what feels good for you, not what society tells you should be your passion. So, here's what I want you to do. Start paying attention to the small things. Stop waiting for some huge moment of clarity because it's already happening. Think of passion as this light thread woven through the little things you already enjoy. Once you start following it, you'll realize just how much it's already a part of your life. Maybe start a journal or just spend a few minutes each day noticing when you feel energized or inspired. Remember, passion doesn't have to be this big, overwhelming thing. It's simple, it's fun, and it's already inside you. Just start with the little things and let it grow from there. All right, now that we've got the first part down, the whole idea that your passion isn't something you need to go searching for, it's right in front of you, let's dive a little deeper into how to actually embrace it. Because, let's face it, there's a huge difference between knowing what your passion could be and actually going after it. That's where most people get stuck. They have a spark of interest, but they hesitate, or they talk themselves out of it saying, "It's not good enough," or "I don't have time for that." Sound familiar? I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of the time, we don't pursue our passions because we're waiting for the perfect moment. We think that we need everything to be lined up just right before we start. And you know what? I've been there. Let me share a story with you. A while back, I was really into photography, not professionally, just as a hobby. I'd go on these long walks, snapping pictures of nature, buildings, whatever caught my eye. But I didn't pursue it seriously because I convinced myself it wasn't a real passion. After all, who wants to hear about someone who just takes random photos on weekends, right? I thought I needed to have a big, grand plan before I could even call myself a photographer. But here's the kicker. As I kept taking pictures, I realized it wasn't about some perfect portfolio. It was about the way I felt when I captured something beautiful. And you know what? The more I did it, the more I wanted to do it. That's the thing with passion. It doesn't wait around for you to have it all figured out, and it doesn't have to come with a certificate or some big title attached. Passion is just something that feels right when you're doing it. No rules, no expectations. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I really know if I'm on the right track? Well, the next thing I want you to think about is this. Passion isn't about being perfect or finding the one true thing. It's about the process, the journey. And here's where most of us go wrong. We've been sold this idea that passion should be this super clear, perfect thing. But the truth is, passion is messy. It's full of trial and error. You'll try things that don't work, and that's totally fine. The more you try, the clearer it becomes. Let me give you an example. I had a friend who was obsessed with cooking. She loved it, but she always felt like she wasn't good enough to make a career out of it. She'd watch cooking shows, try new recipes, experiment with ingredients. But every time she'd make something, she'd get super critical. "This dish isn't good enough," she'd say. "I can't be a chef. Look at how messy the kitchen is." I told her something I want you to hear too. Passion isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about enjoying the process of getting better. In fact, you're probably not going to be amazing at it right away, and that's actually the beauty of it. It's the messy, imperfect parts that make passion so exciting. It's like that first time you try anything new, whether it's cooking, dancing, drawing, or even just playing an instrument. You'll suck at it, but you're going to love every second of it because you're in the process. And trust me, it's that process that builds momentum. It's what keeps you coming back for more. And I think that's the next big piece of the puzzle. You have to commit to the process. That means showing up, even when it's hard, even when you feel like you're not making progress. Passion doesn't care about perfection. It cares about persistence. It wants you to show up, mess up, and try again. Because every time you do, you get just a little bit closer to really understanding what you love. Let's talk about consistency for a second. You don't need to quit your job and move to the mountains to start following your passion. Though, hey, that could be fun, right? You don't need to wait for some huge life event to kickstart your journey. You can start today, right now, in the little pockets of time you have. The trick is to make a commitment to do something, however small, that brings you joy every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. For me, I know how easy it is to get wrapped up in the daily grind. You wake up, go to work, come home, and by the time you finally sit down, your brain's a puddle of mush. But if I let myself skip out on those 10 minutes of creative time, I'd feel like I missed out. It's that 10 minutes that makes me feel like I'm actually living my passion, even if my schedule's packed. And the funny thing is, those 10 minutes add up. What feels small at first ends up having a huge impact over time. You know, this is actually a great time to talk about the big fear we all have. What if I fail? Oh, I hear you. That little voice that creeps in saying, "You're not good enough. You're wasting your time. People will laugh at you." Trust me, I get it. But here's something I want you to really remember. Failure is not the opposite of passion. It's part of it. Think about it this way. If you're not failing at anything, you're probably not challenging yourself. Passion comes from the willingness to take risks, to try things that scare you, and to learn from your mistakes. If you never put yourself out there, you'll never experience the magic of those aha moments when things actually start to click. And trust me, they will. When I first started pursuing creative projects, I was terrified. I thought everyone would judge me, laugh at my ideas, or think I was wasting my time. But every time I took a step forward, even a small one, I felt like I was getting closer to something I really cared about. And I realized the fear didn't go away, but I learned how to use it to fuel my growth. The key is to keep showing up anyway. Passion isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to face the fear and push through it. Alright, so let's recap a little bit. First, finding your passion is not some grand treasure hunt. It's already inside you, waiting to be noticed. Second, don't expect passion to be a clear, perfect thing. It's messy, it's imperfect, and that's what makes it real. Third, commit to the process. You don't need to make huge changes all at once. Just show up consistently, and the rest will follow. And finally, embrace the fear of failure. It's part of the journey, not the obstacle. You've already got what it takes to follow your passion. All you need to do is trust yourself and keep taking those small steps. So, if there's something you've been thinking about, something you've been feeling drawn to, go for it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right time. Just start and watch how it all starts to unfold. You've got this. Now go out there and start discovering what lights you up. And if you ever need a little reminder that it's all worth it, remember, passion is simpler than we make it out to be. It's in the small things, it's in the process, and it's already inside of you. All right, we've made it to the final part of this journey, and I'm so glad you've stuck with me so far. By now, you should have a pretty clear idea that finding your passion doesn't need to be some giant, overwhelming task. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be this thing that takes years to figure out. What we've talked about so far is pretty simple. Your passion is already inside you. It's in the small things you enjoy, the moments that make you feel excited, and the activities that just feel right. It's about showing up for yourself, committing to the process, and embracing the fact that failure is part of the journey. And most importantly, it's about trusting that, with time, it will all come together. So, if this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear what your first step is going to be. Drop a comment below and share it with me. Let's cheer each other on. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let's keep this momentum going. Remember, finding your passion is simple. Just take the first step, and the rest will follow. You've got this. See you in the next video.